Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I haven't been here before. My name is Naya. I'm usually based in Myanmar, but at the moment I'm home in Australia due to the current virus. So today I am going to be doing a cooking video with also a Q&A of all the burning questions you guys have been wanting to ask me or regularly ask me. So today I'm making ramen for the very first time from scratch. I'm super excited. I've been planning this for like 2 weeks and watching videos and trying to find the best recipe. So we're here, the day has come. I'm ready to make this ramen. So let's get started. So at the moment I'm just blanching my pork bones and that's just to get all the excess fat and all the kind of non-niceties out of the meat, and then we can like wash it a bit more and then start the broth. So the broth is going to take about 3 to 4 hours. So at the moment it is 10:47, so I'm starting early because I want it to like also sit throughout the day and hopefully the flavors can come out a bit more. Also, this recipe is from YouTube. I watched a few different types and I know that there's like a few different types of ramen. So there's like shoyu, tonkatsu, miso, and more, but they're like the main three that people commonly eat. But I just have to make shoyu because it's a soy sauce based one. It seems like the most basic kind of recipe for now. And I can try it for the first time and then I can doctor it once I'm better at it. So we're doing shoyu ramen. So it's a pork based broth and it's got a little bit of chicken broth in it as well, but I'm super excited. Hopefully it turns out well, fingers crossed. Alright, so I've prepared my ingredients for the ramen stock, so I'm ready to start making that. So I've got, as you can see, I've got the pork bones in here. What I did is after I blanched them for about 3 to 4 minutes, I went and just washed them again and just kind of got rid of all their fat. Once we boil it again, there will be all this frothy stuff that comes up, which is just the excess, which we can get rid of as well. We just don't want to have that in the flavor of the soup. Okay, first of all, we have 2 bulbs of garlic. So I cut them in half as a cross section, just so that we get all the flavors. So you can leave all the wrapping on, that's fine. So that's the 2 bulbs of garlic. Then you got about 60 grams of ginger. So we're going to add that in. And then we've got 1 leek that I've washed because it's got a lot of dirt. Okay, and then the next thing is I'm putting in this, it's supposed to be kombu, but kombu is kelp, and it's just dried kelp, and you can usually get it in like a whole sheet, and it's supposed to be frozen or refrigerated, but I couldn't find any kombu in the Asian grocers that I went to, so I bought kelp knots, which I think is like very similar and the flavor will be quite similar. So hopefully we'll see if it makes much of a difference and I'll know and then next time I can change it. So we'll see. Last thing to add is the chicken stock. So I'm putting in 3.5 cups of chicken stock. Okay, the last thing I have to add is the water. So they said about 24 cups, but because I already put the chicken stock in with the liquid, as a liquid, I'm just gonna put in 20 cups of water. Okay guys, as you can see, we're getting this film and we want to start removing all this froth without stirring it up too much. So we'll go ahead and start doing that. Okay, so we have gotten rid of all the gunk. I could do that for days, honestly. Make sure you guys try and get yourself like a sieve. God, it made a sound. Make a sieve that's like really fine, and that will help you pick up all the gunk. It's really good for oil and stuff as well. Anyway, so we've turned it on to a simmer, a medium heat, and we're just gonna let it boil 3 hours. So 3 hours, plenty. Let's do 3 hours of Q&A. We're not actually going to do 3 hours of Q&A, but it's a good time to do a Q&A. So I asked you guys on YouTube, Instagram and Facebook what you guys wanted to know about me, and a few of you had some questions, so let's go through them. I will try and answer them as best as I can, so let's go. Okay, so the most common question I get is, what ethnicity am I? I've had this question for a long time as I've grown up. Like literally people are always like, are you halfy? Are you a fully? Are you like full Asian? Are you half something? I've also had, I can literally be every ethnicity. I feel like everybody associates me with their the appearance of their country, which is fine, and I'm totally not offended. I think it's like awesome and it's great to look so diverse. But my ethnicity is Malaysian Chinese, so both my parents were born in Malaysia, but they come from a Chinese background. So yeah, but I was born in Australia. I'm Australian. Some of you asked what nationality my boyfriend was. Alex is from New Zealand, but he's also like New Zealand Chinese. And that comes into the second question, which was like, what languages do I speak? I speak English. Unfortunately, I wasn't receptive as a 3-year-old to Cantonese, as my parents claim, so they didn't really speak it to me. I can understand and like listen a lot better than I can speak, but yeah, that's where we're at with that. Okay, so there's some questions about like Myanmar. So what do I do in Myanmar, and also why I moved to Myanmar. So I moved to Myanmar from Hong Kong, which I was doing in Hong Kong. I was like finishing off my studies at university, and then I moved to Myanmar because my boyfriend Alex got a job in Myanmar, so we decided to try something different, take the road less taken. Yeah, moved to Myanmar, and it was one of the best decisions in our lives. I think it's been like absolutely amazing and incredibly unique. I love Myanmar. I think it's an awesome country, and I feel like also it's a great environment to learn and try new things. In Myanmar for work, I work in research and advisory, so I'm a business development manager, so I do like the business consulting side, I work with clients, I work across the sales side, so it's a really dynamic role across like a few different sectors, which is really interesting, and I really enjoy that. Oh yeah, I really liked this question, which was, if you were to be famous, what would you like to be famous for? Really good question. I think if I was famous, I definitely want to be famous for a skill. Like there's different categories of what I would like. So for instance, if I was to be like an actress or a singer, I would love to be a singer. Like I would love to be Tiana, and be singing on like world stages. That'd be amazing. But I guess based on the skills I actually acquire and have now, to have a more realistic idea, I would, in terms of sport, I love sport. I would love to be like a top tennis player. That would be amazing. I love tennis. But in terms of like now, I guess, like, and if I was to get famous now, based on what I like do and things like that, I would love to be like a travel advice host giver person on the internet, which is kind of what I'm working towards slowly. I mean, I started my YouTube for like fun, but I have slowly like grown to love that. I love giving advice, and I like on different things, but mainly like on travel, like moving abroad and things like that. So if I could, you know, build a following more and more as I am already, I would love to, you know, be able to do that full time. It would be so much fun. I'd love to be like a travel host, or be paid to travel and explore and show people like amazing new areas, a different side of life. Yeah, how did I get into vlogging? You're really good. Thank you very much. That's really kind of you. So I got into vlogging when I was in Hong Kong on exchange. So what happened was, I was like never really a big YouTube watcher, but I started to kind of watch a bit more when I was in Hong Kong, and I was like, oh, this is like really cool. Maybe I should start a vlog to document like what I'm doing for my friends and family. And that's what I did. I started a vlog and just kind of documented what I was doing in Hong Kong. And then that year, that was like the end of 2018. And so then 2019, I made like a promise to myself that I was going to make a video every week and really like put my all into vlogging, which I did in 2019. And I think that's when I started to really like pick up and improve a lot. And I feel like vlogging comes with a lot of practice. So the more consistent you are, the more great content you're going to have, and the more you'll improve, and your YouTube will just like prosper. But that's kind of with everything, like you have to be consistent with things in life. Anyway, yeah, so I've been vlogging. I started vlogging just for my friends and family, and they really enjoyed it. And then I realized like a lot of people actually enjoyed my perspective, especially once I moved to Myanmar. I think it was like a really unique place to be, and a lot of my friends and family have never been there, and then also like people living in Myanmar or expats that wanted to come into Myanmar seem to really be really receptive to my content. So like I think for me it's just like a great thing for me to do to keep discovering the world, but also to also help others, which I really love. Oh, okay, let's have a look. So how many countries have I traveled to? Okay, I think I have this in my phone. I have an app. I have this really good app called Bean, and you can write down all the countries that you've been to, like click it in, and then you can just remember it. I don't know, it sounds like such a privileged app to have, but anyway. Traveling is very, oh, I have to reinstall the app, how annoying. Anyway, I love traveling, and I've been traveling like a lot from a very young age. My parents were really passionate about traveling and always made it a priority, you know, to spend our money on travel and not like such materialistic other things, like not that spending money on material is a bad thing. I'm just saying like that was like our priority as a family, and my parents' priority as parents. So yeah, I have been to a lot of places in the world, which I absolutely love, just because I love the world and I just think that there's so much to be learnt. So this Bean app is really great. I'll put a link for it down below, but essentially so it tells you like the percentage of the world that you've been to, and how many countries. So for me, I've been to 16% of the world, which is just sounds a bit sad, doesn't it? But actually I've been to like quite a lot of countries. I've been to, let's have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've been to 41 countries. That's wow. But I mean, it's only 16% of the world, so I need to get going, you know what I mean? I need to go to way more places. Yeah, one of my goals is to travel around the world for a year. So I'll probably do that with Alex. Don't know, not probably, I will do that with Alex. So yeah, I will do that. Another question was, what do I think of Myanmar food? I like Myanmar food. I was gonna say I really like Myanmar food, but I like Myanmar food. I think that when I'm living in Myanmar, like I really enjoy it. I think I don't crave it outside of Myanmar, just because I didn't grow up with the food, so I don't think it's like a flavor that I always will crave. I do think the food can be really good across different areas, like Shan, Chin State, Kachin State. They've all got really different food, which is really great. I think the Burmese food is very oily, which is okay. I can eat it like once every like week or 2 weeks. But yeah, I like the Myanmar food. I think the flavors are very distinct, but there's like quite like a limit in terms of Burmese food. But in terms of other areas, when you can get your hands in it, it's quite diverse, which is really cool. Another question I had is the main differences that I have between living in Myanmar and Australia. The main differences, oh my god, there are so many differences, and my friends who have visited me would vouch for that. One is developed, one is underdeveloped. There are so many differences between Myanmar and Australia. I guess where I live in Yangon, it's becoming a little bit more globalized, in terms of there are some chains coming in, but the thing I love about Myanmar is that it's very frustrating to do business in for this reason, but it's also really great that they're quite a protectionist society, so they really do protect their culture and you know, try as much as they can to just keep everything quite local, which I think is a really good approach to have at the moment, because in the world I think, you know, you visit all these different places in the world and you'll find the same shopping centers, you'll find the same like retail stores, food chains, and that is a little bit disheartening sometimes, because why travel so far to only experience the same thing? And I think it's really important that you experience something completely different when you travel somewhere. So that's why I really enjoy that Myanmar has been very stern on keeping their society very protected. Yeah. Okay, and what other Q&A? Okay, so last Q&A question is, how did I meet my boyfriend? We met in Hong Kong when I was actually on a solo trip going on holiday, and truth be told, Alex was my first ever Tinder date. I had never been on Tinder before, I'm not even lying, this is a real thing. And I started talking to him, and then we met up, and it was not love at first sight, like sparks did not fly, but we hung out, and I was like, oh cool, like you could be a really good friend, like maybe if you were in Melbourne, like I would date you, but like let's just be friends. And then we hung out like 2 more times, and then the 3rd time something just really clicked, and we really opened up to each other anyway, and then the rest was history. Like yeah, we fell in love, whatever. Yeah, anyway, so the pork is still cooking, so we're gonna let that simmer, but yeah, Don't know why I just got really awkward, but yeah, thanks guys for listening to my Q&A so far. Yeah. Okay, we're back guys. It's been 3 hours, so we're going to put in now this pork belly that we have here. So slice it up and we're going to put it in for 35 to 40 minutes and then let it keep simmering on, and then we'll check on it again. Okay, so the pork that I put in, the pork belly, is almost ready, so I'm going to make the tare. Tare is actually, I guess, like the flavor broth or like sauce that they make, and I actually didn't know this, that yeah, they add, so ramen stores or people who make ramen make tare, and then that's like the kind of the key flavor part, and then you mix it with the broth just when you're about to serve it, which kind of makes me nervous because I'm like, oh, how do I know exactly how it's going to taste until after like I mix it, so I probably have to do like a test. But yeah, the tare that I'm making today is mainly soya sauce, but it's also got mirin, sake, and then ginger and garlic. Mine is a Shoyu Ramen, so that's why it's soya sauce based, but if you're making miso, like you put miso in and so forth. So we're going to make that up now. Okay, so the timer just went for the pork, so we're going to take the pork belly out and now put it in a bowl and then add the tare to it. Okay, so now we have this tare, it's nice and hot. We will go ahead and put a few tablespoons on and over this. Okay, so now I have covered the tare soaked pork belly, and I'm going to put it in the fridge and let it get cold, and then later when we're ready we can slice it. Okay guys, so it has been more than 3 hours. It's like 4 hours now. At the time it is 4:06 p.m. so it's kind of been 4 hours. So my broth is done. Smells delicious and it looks delicious. Have a gaze. Ooh, yeah. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all of the ingredients that we use to flavour it. So all the pork bones, but I don't want to put it to waste because pork bones actually have a lot of meat in it. So we'll just slowly put it into this bowl, and then maybe later we can add it in or something if we want to. Okay, so it is now 6 p.m. and I'm going to put together all the ramen. So I have now taken out the pork. So I've now taken out the pork and I've chopped it up. So I couldn't find ramen noodles in the Asian grocery. So I got these noodles, which look pretty good. They're for the soup, so I think they should be okay. It might just be a little bit different, but I think it'll be alright. We'll try it and see how it is. Mom, how is my ramen?
Oh, delicious too. So much. Such a big bowl. And so much chashu. Amazing.
Dad,
Huh?
how is my ramen?
Okay, beautiful. This is what I call good bowl of noodles.
Ooh. What a successful first time making ramen. I had so much fun. It was kind of a long process, so I'm very appreciative of people who make ramen because there are so many elements to it. But I think it was quite good, and there's things that I obviously definitely would work on, but pretty good first try. I hope you guys enjoyed the cooking and Q&A and found out more about me that you've always been interested about. And learn a little thing or two about ramen. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, stay safe.